thank you guys for coming back to check out another video. My name is She and welcome to my channel, She Be Blogging. Today I am bringing you a oldie but goodie, I would like to call it, video. The month of October is one of my favorite months of the year, and so I kind of wanted to bring a little spookiness to you guys. So for the rest of the week, every day I'm going to upload a video detailing something spooky that I like. Now, today's video would be about the origin of Annabelle. Now, if you are new to this planet, then you may have never heard about Annabelle. But if you've been around and horror is probably like one of your favorite genres, then you've definitely heard of Annabelle. So today I am going to bring you guys my spin on the origin of Annabelle. So let's get into it. So in 1970, Deidre Bernard was gifted a Raggedy Ann doll on her 25th birthday. Her mom gave her the doll because she was a nurse in training, and she thought it would be a good gift to bring some cheer to her daughter's life. She had just moved into a new apartment with her roommate, who was also a nurse in training as well. And Deidre accepted the gift. She thought it was kind of quirky and weird, like she's 25 years old and her mom is giving her this Raggedy Ann doll. Nevertheless, she accepted the gift. So Deidre kind of had a routine where when she leave in the morning, she would leave the Raggedy Ann doll on the bed, positioned in a sitting position with her arms and legs kind of spread like so. And every day when she comes home, nothing was out of the ordinary. She would come home and find the Raggedy Ann doll in the same position. Well, over time, she started to notice when she would come home, the Raggedy Ann doll would be in a different position than what she would leave her in the morning, where her legs would be crossed, her arms would be crossed in her leg or in her lap. And also, sometimes the doll would be positioned like sitting up, but with her hands pointing as if she was kind of pointing to something that was standing beside her, which was definitely really weird. I don't know about you guys, but I would be extremely freaked out if I was to come home and my doll would be slightly positioned differently than when I left that morning. But nevertheless, Deidre just kind of wrote those things off and didn't really pay too much attention to it. So the thing that really kind of creeped her out was when one day Deidre, her roommate Laura, and Laura's fiance Cal was on their way back home, and when they opened the door, the Raggedy Ann doll was in a chair, kneeling in the chair. Creepy. So they assumed that someone was playing some sort of trick on them. Someone was coming into their home, moving the doll, positioning the doll. Like they figured something was going on. So once they came into the home, saw the doll kneeling, of course they immediately picked up the doll because they were in shock. Like, how could this doll that's made of cotton be kneeling? It has no knees, it has no joints, it has no bendable parts to cause it to kneel in a chair. But they also took the Raggedy Ann doll and was attempting to kneel her the same way they found her, but they had no success because of course she had no joints to kneel. Crazy. So after that, things kept getting weirder and weirder. So they would start to find like pencils and parchment papers that had notes written on them, like "help us," or help Cal, or drawings or things found around the home. And what made it even weirder was that neither one of those women had pencils or parchment paper that was laying around for like for someone in the home to do this. So they know that it was an outside source possibly that was coming in, leaving this. So after like everything just kind of escalated and was getting more weird and weird as the time went on, they sought a local clairvoyant to come into the home to see what was going on, like what was up with this doll, like what's going on. So the medium came, and when she channeled the Raggedy Ann doll, she said that it was the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins, who once roamed that land many, many years ago. She died at the age of 7 and still roamed the land. And then soon, well, not soon after, but eventually the apartments was built on top of the grounds where the little girl roamed. And she soon walked the halls of the apartment building, you know, looking for people to play with or looking for their kids or their animals or stuffed animals, toys. But then when Deidre moved in and she had this Raggedy Ann doll, the little girl Annabelle took a liking to the Raggedy Ann doll and wanted to play with her. Now, as the clairvoyant was giving Deidre, her roommate Laura, and her fiance Kel this information, 7-year-old Annabelle, through the clairvoyant, asked could she move into the doll and live with Deidre, Laura, and Cal, so she could always have the doll to play with. And they were in awe of this story. They felt really bad because they're nurses and their job is to help people. So they felt extremely bad and was like, sure, of course. Come on, little girl, move into our doll. So, that's when things kind of got crazy. So, Kel was not excited about this at all. He's like, listen, I understand you girls are like, oh my gosh, it's a 7-year-old little girl. She needs our help. We have to help her. But Kel was not having it. He was like, nope. No, I don't trust that doll. I don't want that doll around me. I don't want to have nothing to do with that doll. Like, no. So, Annabelle knew that Kel did not really like her. And she was not having it either. She was like, oh no, I got something for you, Kel. So one night, Kel was laying on the sofa and he was just in La La Land, probably having like the bombest dream nap ever. And in between like the midst of him sleeping and waking up, he saw Annabelle like levitating over his body. And I'm pretty sure, like any normal person, that would scare the crap out of you. So when he went to react and basically like move her away, he said that he felt her arms wrap around his neck and begin to choke him. So he's laying down and this doll that he's already extremely creeped out about is over him, holding him, choking him, and like he cannot move, he cannot defend himself, he cannot chew her away. So this went on for quite some time, but eventually Kel was able to get away. So he went to he explained the situation to Deidre and his fiance Laura, but they thought that Kel was just like making this up. Like, why would this 7-year-old little girl try to harm you when all she wants to do is be inside this Raggedy Ann doll and play with her? So one night, well, I guess Annabelle felt like she was not through with Kel, or she did not, you know, give it to him good like she wanted to. So one night when Deidre was away, it was Laura and Kel at the home in their room, and they were watching a movie, and all of a sudden they heard this big boom come from Deidre's room. So of course they knew she was not in there. So Kel got up, you know, being the man, and he went to go and check it out. So he went into the room, and when he opened the door, he sees that there's no one in the room, but it looks like Annabelle had been thrown from the bed to the wall and then on the floor in the corner. So for some strange reason, Cal thought it would be a good idea to walk over and pick this doll up. The same doll that choked him in his sleep. Maybe he thought that it was a dream. Maybe he thought that it was a dream. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you had a terrifying dream or thought or fantasy about this crazy doll choking you, and you walk into a room and you hear like a thud. You walk into the room and you see this doll on the floor. Would you go and pick it up? I don't know. I wouldn't. But anywho, he went over, picked up Annabelle. So when he picked up Annabelle and he went to return her to the bed, he felt these this gash like across his chest, and then blood, you know, started to come on his, well, through his shirt. So he dropped the doll. He ran out the room to tell Laura what happened. So at that point they knew that, like, okay, clearly this is not a 7-year-old girl. They're constantly, like, someone's constantly sending messages saying help Cal, like help Cal, and Cal keeps having all of these issues with this because he does not feel like it's a genuine doll. So they seek out a local priest and explains to the priest what's going on inside their home, and then the priest reaches out to Ed and Lorraine Warren, who contacts Deidre, Laura, and Cal to get some more information. So they explain the situation to Ed and Lorraine, and they already know that there's something wrong. Like, there's something wrong with this doll. They could feel it just with them being in the presence of the doll. They can feel that something's not right. So Lorraine Warren, she's clairvoyant, so she was able to determine that there was something demonic living inside of this doll. She explains to them that there was never a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle living in a doll. It was a demonic, inhumane spirit. And if they did not seek help when they did, they may have been dead. All 3 of them may have died within the next week or 2. That's crazy. So they had the priest come out and bless the home. The Deidre, Laura, Cal, they did not feel safe with Annabelle being in the home, so they gave her to Ed and Lorraine Warren for them to take with them to get it away from them. So they take Annabelle, and Ed and Lorraine Warren both stated that during their drive from the girls' apartment to their home, that there was several incidents that happened where when they're driving, their car stalled. Ed also stated while he was driving, sometimes he would lose complete control of the wheel, and they almost had a head-on collision with another vehicle. So finally, Ed was like, enough is enough. So he pulled over, and he had some holy water in his car. He took the holy water out and blessed or sprayed it on Annabelle. And for the rest of the trips, they did not have any accidents or anything. Like, it was smooth sailing. So when they went back home, Ed set Annabelle in a chair right next to his desk. They noticed some weird things, like the energy in their home was thick. You can tell that there was some sort of negative energy. They stated that several times Annabelle levitated, and she also teleported. I was like, what is that word? But she also teleported from one room to another. So they called a priest over. Well, the priest was calling to see how things was going. So they invited him over, and when he came over, he picked up Annabelle, who was sitting in a chair next to Ed's desk. He picked her up and was like, you're just a stupid Raggedy Ann doll. You can't hurt me. You're just a stupid doll. And Ed was like, yo, don't do that. Like, don't do that, father. So so bam, so that was that. He put Annabelle down, and you know, they talked a little bit more. Bam, when he was going to leave, Lorraine told him, you know, be careful, because she kind of got like an eerie feeling that like something was gonna happen to him, but just told him to be careful on his way home. Well, on his way home, he had a near death, almost fatal, almost fatal accident. His car was like totaled. He was in the hospital. It was really crazy, and he almost died. And many believe that it was because of the hostility or the mockery that he displayed towards Annabelle. And Annabelle was like, nah, I'm not having it. We're not doing this. So, after that, Ed and Lorraine realized that Annabelle was a lot more powerful than they originally thought. So they put her into this glass case with a warning sign that says, do not touch. And they have a priest that comes out, or did, because they have since both passed away. But at that point, they had a priest to come out every 2 weeks to bless the case. Also, of course, they had her in the museum with all the rest of their artifacts. And certain people would come in, like they would pay, go into the museum. Some people would make a mockery of Annabelle. And what's weird is, like, once they leave, all of those people will get into some sort of accident where they're extremely hurt, and one person even died. So yeah, that is pretty deep. But I love the story of Annabelle. I've watched all of the movies. Comment down below and let me know which one of Annabelle's movies was your favorite. But thank you guys so much for joining me and listening to my rendition of Annabelle's origin. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I look forward to bringing you more content throughout this week. Love you guys. Got makeup on my finger.